welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. We are on Metropole Television. We are a business center taking a spotlight on matters agribusiness, and just right about now I'm joined by Wangeci Muriuki. She's the country director for Invest in Africa. We'll be discussing matters exports, agriculture produce export in the country. Thank you so much, Wangeci, for making time for us virtually, and we'll go straight into it. Wangeci, what's the general situation of agriculture sector currently as we stand in terms of volumes of what we're exporting in other countries?
Okay, thank you very much. The agriculture sector is a strategic sector in this country. It contributes 51% of Kenya's GDP. And by that, if you look down, 26% of this is direct, which accounts for 60% of employment in Kenya. So that is quite significant. Now, if you look at 65% of that 51% GDP contribution is from exports. So this sector is quite huge, it's quite significant, but then it is dominated by smallholder production on farms. And by that we mean very small farms of maybe farmers who hold about 0.2 to about 3 acres. So here you're looking at less or short of 4 acres of land. And in terms of the contribution to the total agriculture production, I think I would say about 70% of this goes into what we call the commercial production. So in agriculture in Kenya, I must also state that the agricultural GDP in Kenya is driven by horticulture and cash crops, and that is primarily what is largely exported. And this horticulture sector, again, employs, I think, about 500,000 people. And this is drawn from a report that was produced by World Bank in 2018-2019 on horticulture. So generally, in Kenya, according to Vision 2030, our goal as a country is to increase the contribution of horticulture to 10% to Kenya's total GDP. So in terms of foreign exchange earnings, again, it's the horticulture that is leading. It contributes enormously to food security, to household incomes, and a lot of people depend on horticulture from one area to another. So we are looking at a very, very huge sector, an industry that is employing millions of Kenyans, and a lot of exports are derived from this sector. Right. Therefore, from foreign exchange, we are really benefiting from horticulture as a country.
All right. And Wangeci, what has been the impact of COVID-19 to the agriculture exports?
Do you mind repeating the question? I lost you a bit.
Yeah, Wangeci, what has been the impact of COVID-19 to this sector when you talk about exports?
All right. So we're talking about the impact of COVID-19 on the sector. And as I said, at this particular point in time, it may be very difficult to ascertain the impact, but it is predicted to be really huge. And as the crisis unfolds during this second wave, we are looking at food systems that are threatened, experienced lower incomes, like for instance from Invest in Africa and research that we have conducted and we are continuing to conduct, the impact on the high prices of some foods. This is putting out many Kenyans out there out of reach with food, and of course it undermines the right to food.
What is Invest in Africa doing in terms of supporting SMEs? Because we've seen issues like restrictions to do with avocado exports in China. What's your organization doing to support these SMEs?
Okay, thank you very much. There is quite a significant impact, and Invest in Africa is responding by extending support to these agri-SMEs in different ways. Mm-hmm. So one is we are partnering with various financial institutions and organizations to provide ways and means by which we can ensure that these businesses are ready and can access available financing. You know, the supply of finance in the market is quite adequate. The problem is always that these businesses are not ready. So we are currently running and inviting SMEs who are on our platform and even those who are outside to join our ongoing masterclasses and programs where we are training them on how they can access finance and preparing them with coaching support, mentorship support to be able to put in place their structures and processes in their businesses to allow them to access finance. And then secondly is that we are partnering with various organizations and offtake opportunities, and we are extending this support or the network of partners to ensure that we bring more on board to buy the produce from these farmers. And thirdly is that we are running various capacity building programs, developing their skills to prepare them for the world even after COVID and with recovery efforts. Because we are aware that there are very many challenges and these businesses need high touch support.
All right. And then what opportunities do you see even in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic to these agri SMEs?
Well, there are very many opportunities. Despite the limitations of travel and the lockdown and all that, through technology, I can say that we've seen a lot of opportunities that businesses that are seeking to pivot or are looking to deliver services can take advantage of. For example, extension services. Now that there are limitations on getting on-farm extension services, there are organizations that have come up, for instance, Arifu, WeFarm, Trigger, Safaricom's DigiFarm, platforms that are demonstrating how technological models could reach as many smallholder farmers as possible with information. And anybody can ride on technology to offer support to the farmers. So technology is enabling multiple numbers of people to be reached. So that is one, businesses can offer farming information to the farmers using technology. When you go to the internet or to Facebook or to these platforms, you'll see many apps now that are being marketed. And these are emerging from agripreneurs. The second one is on the area of delivery of services. And so there are other opportunities. We're seeing this as more or new avenues to offer market linkages, particularly in urban areas of Nairobi and Mombasa. The uptake of delivery services from the farms is now rising. We are getting groceries from our doorsteps. So any entrepreneur can ride on that. All you need is to advertise your services, tell us what you need, tell the market what you can supply, vegetables or whatever it is. And this is really growing. You can see that the quantity of business that is running through delivery services is pretty high and quite evident. So we're just saying that there are digital tools, there are digital platforms, and agripreneurs should be looking out to see how they can ride on this to help the farmers, be more precise, get their product to the market. So there are very many ways in which any agripreneur could take advantage of technology. Mm-hmm. And of course, there are many other opportunities we are seeing from private sector, from governments, development partners that are coming up to accelerate these efforts to increase the adoption of technology in improving food security.
All right. And finally, what do you see is the future of these agriculture exports, and how can these agri SMEs get themselves prepared for this future?
The future is big, the future is bright, and let me say that it is positive. So first of all, Kenya. Kenya is the most successful producer and exporter of fresh produce and flowers in sub-Saharan Africa. And Europe being the main market where our produce does sell, in countries like the UK, Germany, France, Switzerland, and all that. As a country, there is a commitment to expand the market. So Kenya is seeking more markets to access the European Union, and therefore demand is expected to go higher. So businesses or agripreneurs should prepare for that because there's going to be a higher demand. And then another area on the future of exports is on the value-added products. Products that have a longer shelf life and products that reduce post-harvest losses will be more preferred and accepted in those markets. So those are the opportunities that you see. In the area of herbs and spices, now that the organic market is really growing in Europe, and there are efforts to step up, requirements on traceability, those are areas where agripreneurs can start getting ready. Come to invest in Africa. We are partnering with organizations that have traceability solutions and help you to start that journey of ensuring that you have the right quality, you are traceable, you're compliant with what is required in the European market. So that's a big area, organic produce, herbs and spices. And of course, lastly, I will talk about diversification. Outside the common produce, where we are looking at flowers and fruits, there are commodities like potatoes, with the fast food industry really growing, vegetables, corn in the international market that really holds very high potential for exploration. So the future is huge, and I would just want to encourage the agri SMEs that there are so many associations now. There are many initiatives like Invest in Africa that is supporting agriculture, and particularly for youth and women to just join, partner, and get this information and benefit from the linkages that we have to offer.
All right. Thank you so much, Wangeci, for making time for us. That is Wangeci Muriuki, the Country Director, Invest in Africa, speaking to us on matters export of the agriculture produce. We'll be taking another short break. When I come back, we'll be telling you about the innovation in this sector, and we have your AgriFact. Don't go anywhere.